Okay, so welcome to the next video in the series. In the previous one, we discussed how we can make objects transparent, and in this one, we are going to actually do a little reminder of the previous one. If you select the object again and press Alt plus X, it's actually going to make it, well, visible again. Similarly, you can make an object within an object transparent too. Like this, I chose the teapot, I'm going to press Alt X. It's transparent too, so Alt W, I'm going to move it out. You see, it's also transparent and see-through, but if I tap Alt X again, it's visible now. Same goes for the block. Okay, so in this one, we are going to discuss unit setups. What are unit setups? I'm going to go here and hold up. So we are basically gonna go right up here on the customize button. As I press the customize button, we are going to choose unit setup. And once you click it, this little window will show up here. So we have system unit setup and we have this display unit setups and the lightning. Now you can choose international, which are lumens, and American is candles. We are not going to discuss the lighting ones because we will discuss it later on when the lighting topic comes, how you can set up lights in your seat. We're going to go into custom. You guys can see we have our own unit which we can make. Like if it's going to be in feet, miles, kilometers, and all, you can give it any names. For example, I'm going to name it my unit. I'm going to set up a custom value. For example, my unit as I'm going to choose this to be a 2.25 centimeters like this, which is equivalent to an inch. So if I press OK now, I've set this custom unit. So if I go here, choose the box and draw it, you guys would be able to see, of course, it's not enough, but if I go here, you can see it says my unit right here. So I made this custom unit, which means that every 2.25 inch of the value, it's like like it's equal to a centimeter. So anyways, I'm just gonna head back here inside of the unit setup. I'm gonna go into customize, go back to unit setup again. And instead of choosing custom now, I'm going to choose the US standard. Now default units, you can choose feet or inches. I'm going to choose feet just for now. And we are going to choose up fractional inch, sorry, feet with decimal inches. Because with fraction, you get like 1/4 of the value. I'll show you what that is too. Let's delete it. Choose box again. You can see the unit have changed. Basically, I'm just gonna draw the text here so you guys can see. So in terms of units, well, most of you, if you already know how we represent the units, so I'm just going to choose this text and this symbol right here and a double quote. So I'm just going to drag it up in the front. Basically, these symbols, as you can see right here, this one, this single quote, it represents feet, and a double quote, it represents the inches. So I'm going to remove that and back to our primitive shape. I'm just going to pick up a box. Let me send that to the front viewport. Okay, and okay. So as I drag this out, you guys can see that we have a very small shape, like it's comparable nothing to this size, but this is already 49 feet long, meaning if I import it into a game engine, let's say like this is actual space of like this grid you're seeing. This grid is like actually just 5 feet long, okay? In the game engine, it would be like about this size, like the box when you import it, it would be huge like this, like your entire map area would be covered, or even any 3D scene. So, or like even if you export it to render into Keyshot or any other software, that's going to cause problems. So this is like a bad technique. You don't really need to do this. I'm going to delete this now and go here. Unless you're making something huge. For example, I'm just going to take this. Okay, let me see. I'm just going to take this plane right here. And suppose like this is supposed to be like a giant playground, which would become like a high school playground or a parking lot or anything. Technically, it looks really small here. And you can see here its length is 531 feet and 356 feet in width. And So let's say the size of one game character is the size of this little box, which I made like a plank, a thin plank. So yeah, you see this area is huge. Like this is how you work. It doesn't matter. Like you actually have to be careful about units. Then when you re-import them into any SDK or so, you have to resize them and sorry, it turns into a real pain. Again, back in the unit setup, we have the meters one too. So if I switch it back to inches, I'm gonna cover the metric ones in a bit. So we have feet with fractional inches, which are fractions. We could choose like 1 by 32, 1 by 4 and all. This means that 0.25 and like 1 would be like a perfect inch. Like you can choose it inside fraction, like we say 1/4 of it. Like let's say we have 100%. What is 1/4 of 100? 25, like meaning it would be split into 4 parts. Like 1 inch could be split into 16 parts or 32 or 64 if you're just gonna choose 1 by 4. So now if I draw